I'm Tim.
And I'm Gail. And you are chasing the Joneses.
Well, you know, we have left our sticks and bricks, if you will. We left my position as a pastor in the church, and we have felt God moving us to go full-time RVing and traveling around and telling people about the Lord.
Yes. And it's been a lot of fun. We started off in the summertime, so we were in the northern states, and we have made our way through the Midwest. And then the plan is to spend the fall in Texas, and then for the winter, we would spend several months in sunny, awesome Florida. But this isn't Florida.
No, it's not. I mean, in fact, if you look behind us, it is freezing out.
Cold.
It's snowing, and it's not Texas. It's not where we're supposed to be at this time.
No, we're in the frozen Midwest.
On this episode, we want to bring you how to winterize your RV when you're not supposed to be in the winter on a budget. So let's not do it out here, but let's go ahead and go in where it's warm.
Yeah, 1, 2, come on.
Whew, man, we're glad we're back inside. It was cold out there, that is for sure.
Yes.
So first of all, we'd like to thank you for watching this video. And if you would, please subscribe so you can get you can watch more videos of what we do, and hit that notification bell down at the bottom so that you'll get notified when we go live or when we actually upload another video. And we really appreciate you guys for helping us out in that way.
Yes.
Well, today we want to share with you 10 ways, easy ways, on a budget if you will, about how we winterized our RV for spending the winter here in the Midwest.
Right, and these things you can reuse. However, this is kind of for the mindset of using them this time and you don't plan on using them again.
Right.
So they could be reused, but it's user friendly or cost friendly in case you don't plan on being one of those people that winters in, Vancouver.
Right, and we got our handy dandy notes all right here, and ready to tell you all about the things that we did as we were preparing to stay the winter here in the Midwest.
Right.
All right, so 10 easy things on a budget to winterize your RV.
Correct.
These are the things that we've done to help make it livable in the cold weather. It's been in the teens here, and so it's been really cold. And so, so here are some things that we did. First of all, we knew that we were going to stay the winter here, so we really started looking at skirting.
Right.
Putting a skirting around your RV, and the purpose for that is to keep the warmth underneath the RV, so it's not, the wind isn't howling underneath the RV and all this other thing, so the bottom of it stays fairly warm. And so we researched that.
Yes.
And why don't you tell them what we found as far as price concerns that we had?
Oh yeah. Okay. Now again, if you wanted to do this over and over, and there's some people that even use the skirting in warm places for the opposite reason, then maybe you do want to spend the $2,000 and up to do that. We don't want to spend $2,000, and so we looked at several different DIYs, and there's several out there. The best one that we thought would work for us was to use to buy tarp and then make our own skirting to go all the way around. So that's what we did. However, even when looking for tarps, the ones that we found were still several $100s. And then I got an idea. You know all those billboards that are out on the road? We see them all the time. Well, they don't do anything with them when they're finished. And guess what those things are? They're giant tarps.
Giant tarps.
So sure enough, I got on the phone and I called a local billboard company, media company, and it's easy enough to figure out which one to call. You just look at the bottom of the billboards by you and you call them. Well, I was able to score a used billboard for $25.
$25.
Now,
man, what a great thing it was for us, right?
Exactly. These are super, super heavy duty because they are made to withstand all the weather and the wind out on a highway. Yep. And the one that we bought was 68 feet long by, I think it was 30 feet high. I mean, it's super huge. So it turned out that one tarp was more than enough to do the skirting around our entire 35-foot RV.
Yeah. $35 versus hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Right.
And so we're going to show you that what it looks like on the RV. But the next step in that was to be able to attach it to the RV.
Them.
So once we cut it, we had to attach it to the RV. So we figured, what were we going to do to be able to attach it to the RV? And one of the ideas was that we would get these Duraline Marine fasteners, and they're the button kind of things that clip together. And so we'd screw one end on the RV, and we would apply the other end to the tarp, and it would snap on.
Right.
And so we did that all the way around the RV and snapped it all on. We did find that it was difficult at some particular parts of the RV, and if your skirting is not held down, the skirting will start blowing all over and come
We're going to put links on all of that, just so you know. And the reason we got this particular kit was that it came with the tool. And the tool, other places we found, was $115 or so. And so that would have cost more than the tarp. Well, we weren't doing that. So we will attach the link for the ones we used, as well as the additional grommets.
So we did that, and we fastened it all the way around, but the wind was kind of blowing around, and it came unsnapped. So we figured we gotta reinforce it, if you will.
Right. So you want to weigh down the bottom, and I've seen several ways of doing that. Some people will make a pocket and thread PVC pipe down the whole thing so it stays, but it's crazy windy here. We ended up weighting it down with landscaping bricks. So those are easy to get. You just go to a local Home Depot. You get several. Our local Home Depot, I think they were about 56 cents each, because it's fall. They're not as expensive. So we did that. And then to just reinforce, because still there were days where the wind was so crazy that it would pull a couple of them, a couple of snaps off. And once it gets under, then it can take the entire thing. So we discovered duct tape has an extreme weather. It's called Duct Tape Max Extreme Weather Duct Tape. And again, I'll show you, I'll post the link, and we got it at Walmart for $4.47. So it wasn't that expensive at all. And really it took about 1.5 rolls to go around the whole thing. Now they do say a couple of things. One is that you really should apply it to the surface when it's 50 or above. However, you can also use a blow dryer to just make sure that it adheres really well. But I actually called the duct tape people, because I'm thinking I don't want to have to remove all the duct tape residue after. And this stuff is guaranteed to come off residue free as long as you remove it in 6 months.
So essentially what has happened here is that we were able to get the skirting, cut it, do it ourselves, buy the grommets, put everything on with the tape and everything
for under $100.
Yeah, under $100. The next thing we wanted to talk about was that we wanted to talk about our sewer.
Yes.
And so one of the big things that I was concerned about was that if we had the regular sewer hose, that through the cold weather, the wet and the dryness and the freezing, that it would end up cracking, and we would have a problem with it. So what we did was we went to Home Depot.
Good old Home Depot.
And we went out and we got some the sewer tubing, PVC tubing, and we just attached it all the way to where it needed to go for the drain. And then we attached it. We went to a camping place to get an adapter, and we just plugged it right up into there, and it's working very, very well. Now we glued it together because we didn't want it to come apart, you know, through the sunshine and the cold and all that stuff. So we just went ahead and did that, and it's working out perfectly for us. We've not had a problem whatsoever in the cold. Okay, the next thing we want to talk to you about is propane tanks.
Yes.
Propane tanks. One of the mistakes that we had, the mistake that we did, was we did not fill up our propane tank before we parked.
Yes.
Because once we did the hard sewer connect and we got everything wrapped around, right? We did not want to move.
We were not moving.
Want to move. We had everything set, and so it would be hard to kind of get everything put back together. And so we didn't anticipate that.
Right.
But what we did was we went out and bought a 100-pound propane tank.
Yes.
In the extreme weather, it lasts about 2 weeks, the whole thing. And so we usually, that's a little bit of cooking. That's we usually don't have the propane on during the day. We run our space heaters during the day, and then at night we make sure it's on, or we click it on when it's getting just a little bit too chilly in the floor area. And so, but it'll last about 2 weeks. It will last a month in 40 to 50 degree weather. It lasts almost a month, and so that's a key thing. But I also will tell you that if you do not have a spare propane tank, I want to encourage you to get one, because when you run out, you run out. Yes. And it could be in the middle of the night. It could be, in the coldest of coldest. And so you don't want to be running around trying to find a place to fill your propane tank.
Correct.
If you just had an extra small spare one to get you through whatever time you need.
Yes.
And so that's what we did. The 100-pound propane tank was, I think, about
150.
No, it was like 115.
Okay, 115.
Yeah, 115. Okay. And so, so it's not too expensive. I mean, it's pricey, but not too expensive.
Now, there's several options for where you can get these. We got ours at Menards, but Home Depot or the other big box home improvement stores. But also, you want to check places like Tractor Supply, and maybe in your area there is a rental program with a local propane supplier. We don't have that here, but I do know that that's available in some places.
And here's the thing. If you purchase that 100-pound tank, the thing about that 100-pound tank, you want to purchase it where they can fill it. Yes. And so so where we purchased that at, they could fill it. They could fill it right there. The problem is, though, and here's a problem for us and many other people.
Correct.
A 100-pound tank cannot lay on its side.
Right.
So if you purchase a 100-pound tank, you need to make sure that you have a vehicle or some way that you can take it back and forth while it's standing up. Those are some of the things that you really need to know about a 100-pound tank. So it might be advantageous for you to get maybe 2 40-pound tanks.
Correct.
It'll cost a little bit more, but you're able to transport it easier.
Yes.
Okay?
So you can always have one filled.
Right. You can always have one filled. Right. Absolutely. Okay. The next step is reflectics.
Yes.
Right? And so reflectics are important. I think every RVer knows about reflectics, especially for the summertime, but also for the winter time, because reflectics keeps heat in as well as it keeps heat out. So we have some of our windows that have reflectics on them, but we have others that are not. We did not put them on there, and the reason for that is because we wanted sunshine in the RV, and so we have our major windows, like our windshield. We have a covering on the outside of it, but we can see through it, and also on our dining area, and also here we did not put any reflecting, so we could open those up and get sunshine in when the sun is shining, and it's not so cold. Right,
but on this the front passenger and driver's side window, we do have reflectics, again, because the wind blows so hard that's just a great way to protect us from that. And you can also do this in a way that you can pull it up and take it down, which is how we have ours. Now, the best price I found on reflectics was at Home Depot, and you can get a 48-inch wide roll by 25 feet long. And I believe the price was right about $25 to $30, which was really, really good for reflectics. And they usually have it in stock.
Yeah. So far we are less than $200. We're less than $300 in preparing for the winter. Okay.
Correct.
Now the next step is actually the step area in your RV. This is a critical place.
Big time.
Because your battery's held there, your tools are, you got a little that extra one where we keep tools in. Yeah. Some people keep their shoes in it. Yeah. But it is a cold air duct, if you will. It just blows cold air into the RV. So what we have done is we cut out some plywood and put some carpet around it and stapled it around it, and so we cover that area up. All to keep that cold out of the RV.
And of course, he'll insert a picture of that for you here. And it is great. Also, in those inside of those two boxes, when you open them up, we added Reflectix. We stuffed those with cotton batting, and then we covered it again with Reflectix so that when they're closed, they are sealed as much as they can possibly be.
Yeah. Well, the next step then is the water hose. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the two things that you need to do is, one, of course, to fill your fresh water tank halfway or 3/4 way up, however you want to do it, as a spare. And then, of course, we purchased a hose that has the heater already in it, and you just plug it in and it keeps it warm. And I think it's down to like what, -27 or something like that it works. Anyway, the type of hose that we purchased was this.
It's a Camco 25-foot Taste Pure heated drinking water hose. We got the like I said, we got the 25-foot, and we actually got it at Camping World for exactly $99. We did find some places that were cheaper, but when we got it, we wanted it right then. And so it was about $10 more, but we got it that day.
Now, the reason why we needed it right then was because what we did was we bought some heater tape, and we bought some pool noodles, yes, and we wrapped the heater tape in our regular hose.
Right.
And in the first cold weather,
it wasn't even that cold,
and it was just dropped just below freezing. That thing froze up, and I could not get it unfrozen for nothing.
Right. And
so we immediately said, let's go out and get this hose. Yeah. And we really haven't had too much of a problem with that hose. It's been good all the way through so far. So you think about that as you go along. There's some great DIY things out there, but really, if you could get one that says this hose is good for -14, -27, whatever it is, then that is something that you would definitely want to get.
Right. Plus, by the time we did the math on how much we had actually spent on the DIY, the cost difference really wasn't that much. So we should have just went ahead and bought the Camco in the first place.
Right. Well, the next one is number 8 on our list, and number 8 on our list is the door. The door, of course, doesn't seal all the way on RVs, and you know this if you've been in cold weather at all. Just go back and feel around the door, and you can feel all that cold breeze coming through. So what we chose to do was we put up a rod and put up thick curtains on the door, and so we can spread the curtains open when we go out and then close them back up. We got long enough curtains so that it goes all the way down to the bottom step, so that when we put the board on top of the steps, we push it against, and it creates a better seal right there at the door. And it's helped out a lot.
It has. And these are blackout curtains, and they are the draft resistant type curtains. They're specifically for a residence to help to keep some of that heat in. I got these at Walmart, and they were $12 for both panels. So again, a really low cost amount. We hung them actually with a shower rod because that was much cheaper than paying for one of those high-end curtain rods. Yeah. And since it's a very plain rod, it's perfect for that spot.
All right, so the next thing we have down is the fresh water tank, and I just talked about that earlier. Fill it up a little bit so that you can have a spare. Because if it gets too cold and you're in your RV, our RV heats from the bottom. We have ducting running in the bottom, so it keeps those tanks warm enough where it doesn't freeze. Now, some of you have these 4-season or 3-season RVs, and they're great, but you still need to make sure that you're doing the steps that you need to do. So I would fill that up and then you can run your pump and also your water heater through that, and you'll have a great time, no problems, if your hose freezes up. So our RV connects right from the hose right into the side of our RV, and you need to put a little glove over that to keep that warm enough. The hose does a great job for that, but we just have a little cover for that. The reason I mention that is because some people have wet bays. So on fifth wheels and other things like that, you have a little bay that's a wet bay that your hose gets connected in there and everything like that. A lot of people, what you need to do in there is you need to either attach a small little heater, or you can put in a light bulb in there, and just keep that light bulb on, and it will heat that little area up enough to keep it warm where it doesn't freeze. And so that's the difference between the wet bay and, of course, what we have, which plugs straight into there. And then number 10, this is it, number 10.
This was the one I came up with.
Has nothing to do with me.
Yes.
I'm not in this area at all. This is all Gail's area.
Clothes. You know, when we first went out on the road, our plan was to always be in warm places, and so all of our clothing was geared toward, 2-3 seasons. So there, all of a sudden, we had to figure out not just where to get the clothing, but then where to store it. And so I just want to give you some tips on that. Layer, layer, layer. Always think in layers, because you can still wear some of your winter stuff or summer stuff, but if you add a layer to it, like I've got on this long sleeve shirt and PT has on one under, then you're able to still use a lot of your clothing, but modify it so that you don't have to use as much space. So I would recommend that you hit the local Goodwill or Salvation Army type stores so that you can buy the layering items that you need without breaking the bank. And when you're finished, just donate them right back.
Hey, listen, we're glad that you guys are with us again. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sharing this video to other people. Don't forget, we want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel if you are not already a subscriber, and also to hit that notification bell so that you can do that. And listen, for many of you out there that have already spent time in the winter months, please share with us the things that brought you success and staying warm inside your rig. Because we'll be able to share that with other people on other videos and things like that as well. And so share that with us, and we just encourage you to do that.
And there's a part 2. Remember, PT is also going to give you 7 tips to stay warm. And it doesn't include my clothing tip, apparently. It doesn't include my clothing tip.
So it might be 8 tips. 7.5. Let's say 7.5. It's coming up soon.
Yes. Now, we are on mission, with Chasing the Joneses. We're on mission to tell people about the Lord, and we're doing it full time. But did you know that there's a way that you can get more value out of your vacations? You don't have to be a full-time missionary like we are, but when you do go camping, do you know that you could be on mission? We're going to be attaching a link to our friends, we're members as well, of Campers on Mission. Yeah, so you can actually bring an even bigger experience for your entire family to your camping trip. Amazing things that you can do, and we just really want to recommend that to you. So go to campersonmission.net, and you can learn how you too can join.
Yes.
So I guess that's it for today.
That's it for today. Thank you for watching again. Don't forget, subscribe and get notified.
Yep, and stand by for part 2.
Yep. We'll see you
down the road. Go on the road, you say. Go have fun and fun,
much
you
fun.
say. Yeah.
It's great. It's wonderful. You'll love full-time RVing. That's what they said.
You said I would be warm.